Hi, everyone. I'm sure up to this point, you might have seen me on the same stage at every Stake in the Boards in the past few months. Um, I'm going to talk about similar things, but before that, I'll definitely going to give a recap on Puffer, how far we came, and where we're going from here. Creating flywheels, creating DeFi flywheels, creating infrastructure flywheels. I'm going to wrap it all together and tell you about our journey as Puffer. So, up to this day, over 90% of what we built at Puffer has not been built before, or it has been built in an innovative way to give access to users, give easy access to yield, give easy access to infrastructure. I'm going to take it up a notch. You guys might have heard over and over about typical things in these panels, but today I'm making it spicy. Is ETH dead? Everybody talked about it here. Welcome to the chat. If you haven't been in one of those chats or conversations here today, probably a lot of you are asking, how is it dead? And a big question I ask everybody, okay, if it is dead, where are you going to go after? There is no place to go after ETH. So I'm going to just wrap that argument up right now. A lot of the current real-world problems that have been experienced in ETH and have been addressed has not been addressed anywhere else. So I'm just going to wrap that up about the chain debate. Another one that I'm going to talk about is the relevance of BTC and BTC5. If you follow me on Twitter, I have made many posts that BTC5 has no other place to go other than the Ethereum infrastructure because it's ready for it. And I'm going to touch on the new protocols. So let's dive in. Next. So what are we at Puffer? What did we do? We have introduced the first permissionless LRT, where the idea was the small node operators are going to not be able to get advantage of staking rewards. It's always a very high barrier of entry to actually run nodes. We lowered that to 2 ETH, and you can be exposed to restaking rewards. But that was just the start. We then introduced the same architecture to institutions that we launched last week. We told them that, hey, here's a mini Puffer. If you want to have your assets generate yield for you, go run a version of the mini Puffer. Of course, we then expanded our infrastructure offerings to pre-confirmations that brings very fast transactions, as well as rollups. This part is very well connected to our staking vaults because there is a lot of economy involved in generating the flywheel of accessible yield on rollups, which I will unbundle. Before that, a bit of a flex. The fastest DeFi ecosystem ever that reached $1 billion in 16 days. Beat us on that. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about why we introduced app chains. This is an evolution of Puffer from just validators, from staking to restaking, now doing more, doing base rollups, doing rollups. I am saving you from the technicality of base app chains. I know base rollups have been talked a lot about, but it is so hard to wrap around our heads around it. I need 1 hour session to technically discuss with you what a base rollup is. TLDR is sure, the L1 proposer is going to be in charge of sequencing the blocks. But that's not the catch. What's the catch on app chains? It benefits Puffer, sure, because it's validator involved. But the catch is, imagine a future where you can spin up a rollup instead of a smart contract. I know you're going to say, oh, wow, it's a RAS. It is not. The reason for that being is this rollup is going to have visually no difference than a smart contract. Because now you're composable with the Ethereum L1. There is no barrier of withdrawal and bridging timing. Same block bridging, same block withdrawal. You're going to have unified liquidity. I'm sure a lot of people, I saw a Hyperliquid banner here earlier on. I'm sure a lot of people wished they could have taken a flash loan out of Aave and go do some crazy HFT perplex trading on top of Hyperliquid to make money and go pay off that flash loans. Can you do it today? No, you can't. It's not possible. But with the Puffer Unify app chains, you can do them. We want to make it so easy that you can, under 48 hours, spin up one of these execution environments. You'll be able to then ultimately not only get the security of Ethereum, but be on top of your order flow. I'm going to unwrap order flow at the end of my talk. I didn't anticipate it to be such a short talk, by the way. So I'm going to speed run through this. They have these major asset staking vaults that are liquid across the entire Puffer Unify app chain ecosystem. You can use them as gas while they're generating you the top yield. Right now, for example, Unify ETH at some point reached 18% APR. So now you can see, by being at the base of infrastructure, we're actually generating yield for the Puffer as an entire ecosystem. I am going to skip ahead and talk about the one-click custom execution environments and how valuable they are. First of all, not only they solve the decentralized guy who's instead of just spinning up a smart contract and not be on the order flow, not get the transaction fees, let's think about institutions. There has been a lot of talks about onboarding institutions these days. As you guys know, I'm going to name names. There's Converge, there's other chains that are saying that we have a KYC chain for all institutions to come and stake their assets on us. My big question for these initiatives is why would a $6 trillion fund like Fidelity come and choose an ecosystem that is valued less than is a total AUM? Why would they give up the user transaction fees to go on another chain? Simple answer to that is they should have their own app chain. The app chain takes away the complexity, takes away the dependency on a third party or a third party company to make sure they operate well. And of course, compliance, and you implement your own rules. My last point that I'm going to just touch on is order flow is king. Why? You want to capture transactions as an app developer. Up until now, we have seen models that L2s are capturing the order flow. But why shouldn't the app developers just capture the order flow themselves? Why shouldn't they take a piece of the order flow? If they pay for the security, pay for the security of Ethereum, but you should be able to capture the order flow. And that's how you build the flywheel on the yield and flywheel of Puffer. Empower the pre-confirmation network, empower what brings fast transaction to this app chain future, empower Puffer, empower yourself by sitting on top of the order flow. And I am gonna save a few headaches on talking about AI and the future, but there is a big use case for these app chains for AI agents. But thank you for listening to my talk. Also, if you're wondering why I really speak a lot about institutions, because we're backed by some of the biggest American institutions that are interested in such infrastructure. Thank you very much.